we do want to get a few parts of our program going here. And, you know, unfortunately, during the past year, we've said goodbye to some longtime friends and past inductees of the Greater Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame. And at this time, I ask all of you to join me in a moment of silence to remember those members of the Hall of Fame who are no longer with us, and that includes West Side Rowing Club President William Cotter, induction class of 1999, former Canisius and Braves coach Bob McKinnon from the class of 1995, bowler Dick Siprich from the class of 2007, and Van Miller from the class of 1999. Now, Van Miller has a very special place in all of our hearts, and I'd like to share with you just a little bit about one of the most iconic figures in Buffalo sports broadcasting history. I didn't grow up here in Western New York, which means I missed out on what so many of you enjoyed, which was having Van as the soundtrack of your sports life. But when I took a job at Channel 4 as a 21-year-old kid fresh out of Syracuse University, I had a front row seat for the Van Miller show, and let me tell you, that was the best seat in the house. Whether he was telling stories about the early days of live radio and frankly the early days of television as well too, or he was telling tales of Bill's road trips out on the West Coast during the AFL days, or just telling one of his classic Van jokes for about the 100th time, the Van I knew was the Van that you knew. He was genuine through and through. He loved this town, its teams, and you guys, the fans of Buffalo. Along with being a great broadcaster in any sport that he did, he was also the funniest man that I have ever met. And if you were here for his 1999 induction or any other event that Van ever emceed, you know what I mean. In the world we live in now, with 1,000 channels and 1,000 opinions, there'll never be another Van Miller, who was the singular voice of sports for this town and many generations. And that's too bad, but it's just the world that we live in. Van lives on in the young broadcasters he has inspired and in our memories of his great calls. And he lives on in this Hall of Fame. So fasten your seatbelts, everybody. Ladies, check to make sure you're not wearing just one earring, and if you ever met Van, you know what I mean by that. And get ready for a couple of minutes coming up here of Vandemonium. And we thank Rich Newberg and videographer Scott Swenson of Channel 4 for this tribute to the immortal and the great Van Miller.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Van Miller in Orchard Park, New York.
Van Miller considered it a great honor and great thrill to be the voice of the Buffalo Bills for 37 years. And his gift to us was passing that thrill on to the fans.
I've been doing it since I was in second grade. I used to talk into a hose and a funnel on my...
Waiting for the snap, the put down, the kick is up, and it is good! It is good! The Bills have won it in overtime!
Wideouts to the right.
The one thing I think that I have that I can bring to the table is enthusiasm.
Headed for the end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown! Caught for a touchdown! I don't believe it!
I think that his energy level and his enthusiasm are what set him apart from virtually everybody else.
It is bedlam! It is pandemonium! It is fandemonium! It is fantastic!
It's fandemonium, it's pandemonium, it's fantastic. All those things that we will take to our grave with us is the times that stick in our heart.
Great job. The late Bills owner, Ralph Wilson, had a great relationship with Van, who became the first local play-by-play announcer to be honored by the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2004.
And now I'm in the class with guys like Don Criqui and Frank Gifford, who's here tonight, and John Madden. Madden got 10 minutes and a Rolex. I got 2 minutes and a Timex.
In October of 2014, Van was inducted onto the Buffalo Bills Wall of Fame. The 4 straight Bills Super Bowls were exhilarating for Van.
2-1, the Bills are first time in their history. It took 25 years to get there, and they did it in championship style.
He used to say, I was a young kid from Dunkirk who started out as a summer replacement announcer for $100 a week.
I was an only child. I mean, you can't improve on perfection. She just quit right there. So. Da, 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 da.
I don't mind going through this here, but when I try to get into my hotel room when they do it, that's something else again.
Wright puts it down. The kick is on the way, and it is good. And the Bills have won it. The Bills have won it.
I'm going to say so long before I cry. I'm unfastening my seatbelt and turning it over to Murph.
We are now going to hand the stage over to Paul Peck at the backstage here, where he's going to introduce all of the past inductees who are here this evening. This backstage is sponsored by Chefs and Lou Billetier, who's helping Paul Peck welcome all the past inductees. So, Paul, we'll hand it over to you in the back.
All right, thanks, Therese. I got my friends here. I got Lou, and I got, with Chicken Parm the mascot, right? Spaghetti Parm the mascot, right? We have any comments? No comments, no comments. Well, thank you, Lou and Chefs, for being a big part of our induction ceremony, honoring our alumni. Before we get started here, I want to direct your attention, table number 51, a couple of our Greater Buffalo Hall of Fame inductees who are not able to make it up here. Let's say hello to the legendary wrestler, Dick the Destroyer Beyer. And let's also say hello to West Side community coach and activist and supporter, Tovi Azaris. All right, now for the cavalcade of alumni members, go ahead and make your way up here. We welcome up Cindy Coburn Carroll, the outstanding bowler class of 2001. Next up, it's Jim Bowler, inductee 5. Dorothy Sowers, synchronized swimming coach from 1995's class. I don't need a card for you. It's Reuben Brown, the Bills' legendary offensive lineman class of 2011. Jim Dombrowski, great off the New Orleans Saints class of 2009. It's Todd Miller, the tennis instructor from 2012. The all-time great baseball coach from Canisius, Don Colpoys. Art Serrati's here. Of course Art Serrati's here. Good to see you, Art. Grover Cleveland High School coach. We've got Dick Harvey, Kenmore West basketball coach from 2006. Charlie Garfinkel is here, the tennis great, Racket Sports from 1993. The UB basketball class of 1997. Armin Cacciatore, the Niagara Wheatfield football and wrestling coach from 2002. The high school sports guru, everybody knows him, everybody loves him, Dick Gallagher. How are you, Joe? From St. Joe's High School, it's Joe Wolf, class of 2012. The UB basketball great and Niagara Falls High School coach Dan Bazzani from 2009. Hello, Phil. Phil Mankowski, baseball great and star of The Natural. Phil Mankowski from 2011. The Mouse is in the house. Jim McNally, all-time great offensive line coach from the Bills and the Bengals, class of 2008. Here to record this forever history, it's Milt Northrup of the Buffalo News, 2013. Good to see you, Milt. The all-time great coach and athletic director at ECC, Ralph Chico Galanti. We know the nicknames. Dan Starr, the Canisius athletic director, class of 2010. UB and CFL great Donnie Gilbert from 2003. We're going to hear and see more of him a little while later. It's Booker Edgerson, Bills Wall of Fame great induction class of 2001. From the sport of archery, it's David Rinn from the class of 2005. Sir. Fred Hartrick, coach and administrator from Buffalo State College 2013. The great baseball scout, class of 2004, say hello to Bob Miskey. The basketball coach from Bennett High School from last year's induction class, welcome Larry Veronica. Steve Tasker, the Bills great, class of 2001. From last year's class, I won't screw it up, Ed Kilgore is here. The great Buffalo State basketball coach 2005, Dick Beer. And of course, the all-time great sportscaster from WKBW, a hero to all of us, Rick Azar is back. One big round of applause for all of our alumni who have come back for this wonderful 25th anniversary Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Therese, we will send it back to you.
Thank you, Paul. Before we get ready for our induction dinner, which will begin approximately at 8 o'clock, I want to thank a couple sponsors, specifically New Era Caps, who has been our sponsor for many years. And you all, hand of applause for New Era. They're a presenting sponsor, and I know you all received your 25-year anniversary caps, so we thank them for those. I want to thank all of my fellow board members, 35 of them. It is a group effort among all of us. We all work pretty hard all throughout the year. It's a volunteer board. And I want to thank especially our event committee, Ann Brooker, Paula Bogdan, Suzanne Taylor, Chuck Frawley, John Boutte, Rebecca Borodzik, John Maddox, Sean McCross, and Tom Burns, and Mark State for all the efforts that you put in to make this dinner so successful. And all of our other board members, not to name them all, I want to thank you all for all your work. So thank you to the board, the volunteers, the Buffalo Gills alumni who are helping sell raffle tickets, Paul Peck, Reed Rankin, all of our sponsors in the Buffalo Niagara Convention Center for making this evening such a big success. One other thing I want to mention is the Sports Hall of Fame is collaborating with the Music Hall of Fame, the Broadcasters Hall of Fame to create a facility called the Buffalo Niagara Hall of Fame, if you saw it in the news last week. And just stay tuned because this is going to be an incredible facility, hopefully, in downtown Buffalo. So it's in the development stage, and we hope to bring it together soon. Lastly, the mayor could not be here today, and I was given the proclamation by the mayor today that today is whereas the Greater Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame will celebrate the induction of the 25th class on Wednesday, November 4th at the Buffalo Niagara Convention Center. So now the Mayor Brown, the City of Buffalo, I do hereby proclaim November 4th, 2015, the Greater Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame Day. So thank you for everybody for being here. Thank you again.